Good morning.
Morning, Matt.
Hi, good morning. We're just waiting for Captain Flora, and then we'll start the meeting. Somebody from Diane Pope and Dr. D. Wall. We're not on the internet.
Morning. Morning. Morning, sir. Morning, Tom. Good. Yourself? Ready? There you go. Good morning, everyone. It's 10:02 this morning, and welcome to the Contractors License Board meeting. And I would like to call to order. Good morning, everyone. It's 10:02. Let's do a roll call, please. This morning, and welcome to the Contractors License Board. And I would like to call to order. Good morning, everyone. Let's start.
Investigation supervisor, contractors license board.
Healer, Assistant Attorney General. Yes, are you?
I don't know about the others, but I'm having trouble hearing what's being said around the table.
Me as well.
Are they talking?
Now I can't hear it all.
I can't hear either.
Neither me. I can't.
Yeah. I'll give it a few more minutes.
delay. Hello? No, and you don't even see that. Yeah.
System. Share that.
Oh, okay. Can we hear? Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Third delay.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
make sure.
Just stay. Oh.
Roll call, the three of them.
Miss, can we have the board members do a roll call, please, that are connecting via Zoom?
Matthew Cruz, board member.
Rena Borja, board member.
Michelle Santos for Department of Revenue and Taxation, ex officio board member.
All right, Mr. Benavente, we're all connected.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Continue. The roll call.
Can we have the public do introduce yourselves, please?
John Ilau Jeremiah Edison. Joseph Rosano, Rosano Walsh and Torres. Mars Johnson from Blairfield and Johnson Martinez.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Bob Kelly, MCS Contractors.
Good morning. I'm Joshua Walsh. I'm also on the Zoom.
Good morning to you.
This gentleman,
Staff.
Aaron Aragon, contractors like investigators. Ian Weston, DPW.
Andrew Mesa, KLB investigator.
No, Marcus, not investigators.
Okay. Roll call done. Thank you all for being here this morning. Let's move to item 3, new business. Okay, February 3rd, 2022, resignation of Mr. Cecil Buddy Orsini as Executive Director of the Contractors License Board, and propose action to accept Orsini's resignation and accept Ms. Linda Urbanis as a temporary acting Executive Director. Motion to approve this? Approve the resignation of Buddy Orsini? And they,
So moved.
I'll make the motion for the proposed action to accept Mr. Orsini's resignation and to accept Ms. Adanis as the temporary acting executive director.
okay.
I second.
Matt,
I concur.
okay, so all in favor? Say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Item B. Authority of the Executive Director. Propose action to rescind any findings and decisions issued by Mr. Orsini that has not been formally approved by the board.
Mr. Chair, if we could, could we have the acting for the now? Accepted Ms. Linda Urbanis as the acting executive director, if she could explain exactly what this is and how many findings and decisions we're going to be looking at.
Sure.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So there is some renewal of license that are pending for approval and some written essays and testings pending approval. There was a board decision that authorized Mr. Cecil Orsini to approve without the board's approval. So we would like the delegation of authority to be rescinded based on a motion hearing on August 21st, 2019. So
Okay.
that includes renewal of license and testing and essays. And written decisions of findings. Approval without the quorum of the board.
So there was a resolution passed earlier by this.
Yes,
Board
on
That
2019,
gave them the authorization to approve.
correct.
If I may clarify though, that authority was given with the understanding if there was no issues with the application, no red flags, that are raised, that if all things are in good order, that the director would have the authority then to approve. And this was also, in an attempt, with the intent to be more effective and expeditious in the renewal process. So I want to clarify that it wasn't a blanket authority to approve any application that came across the director's desk.
Right.
If there was even one question, it was to be brought to the board. So I
Correct.
want to clarify that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Keeler.
Yeah, I'd also like to clarify that the agenda item is specifically with regards to findings and decisions by Mr. Orsini. I think what's just recently been discussed goes beyond that. We're talking about renewal of licenses. I don't see that as necessarily specifically being on the agenda. The findings and decisions, as I understand, relate to two and possibly more, because I'm not certain exactly how many of these decisions were issued by Mr. Orsini. I'm aware of two. One relates to the Menzie matter, and the other relates to an item, frankly, I can't recall the name of it right now. But those were two specific items where Mr. Orsini issued findings and decisions. They were entitled as such. Again, I'm not certain if there was a third or fourth issue. I'm aware of two. But with regards to any renewals of licenses, etc., I'm not certain that's in front of the board at this particular time. And so far as I understand, with the exception of maybe one or two specific items, I'm not certain renewal of licenses are really a concern with regards to the actions of Mr. Orsini. So
That is correct.
my recommendation is that the board deals with the specific item, which is rescinding findings and decisions, of which, again, I'm aware of two, of which I think were improperly issued by Mr. Orsini. They exceeded his authority. So both those actions, assuming the board approved, in any event, both those items should have been presented to the board for action, not taken independently by him.
That is correct, Mr. Keeler. It was brought up on several board meetings that if there is an issue that comes about and being unsure of what to do, it is the best to bring it up to the board and we'll discuss it. I guess that was not the case. So this item B pertains the renewal license and all that does not pertain to what we're talking about of the facts and findings, the issue of the facts and finding decision. So,
Correct, and I think any discussions with regards to the renewal of licenses, I believe, is scheduled to be entertained by the board in its next regular meeting
Yes, sir.
Not
This
this
was just a
particular
finding.
special meeting.
Right.
Okay, so which findings and decisions do we have to review today then?
The JMI.
You have the
Menzies.
Menzies one,
Okay,
and there's a second one.
Technologies for some.
G4S. and
G4S.
technology for tomorrow.
do we have the findings before us?
We have the one for Menzies. Yeah, one for Menzies.
Yeah,
Just the Menzies only.
no, it's not just Menzies, it's the second one.
Oh, this one, Menzies.
This is just the one that was issued by, or given to us by Mr. John Elo. And I emailed it to. Yes.
So are they making copies or something?
Yes, yeah.
The second matter, which I can't recall the exact title of, is virtually verbatim what was issued by Mr. Orsini in the Menzies matter. And clearly exceeded his authority.
So, Mr. Chair, I'm to understand that item B, we're rephrasing the motion.
No.
No, it's not rephrasing. I'll go ahead and follow up.
We're just sticking to the-
Yeah, no, it's to clarify, it is not rephrasing because
Clarify.
there were discussions with regards to renewal of licenses. That's not before the board at this particular time. So the motion, as I understand, for discussion relates simply to rescinding any findings and decisions that were issued by Mr. Orsini. And I believe these were made in the last 4, 5, 6 months. Because they clearly exceeded his authority. So
Just to be clear, that's what it is.
this, so if we could, hopefully, a member of the staff could clarify, we've been handed out a item that is not what we were looking for. The one that was just handed out related to a December 22nd, 2021 quote unquote finding and decisions with regards addressed to Mr. Elau of GMI Edison. That was case number 2021-09-04. That is clearly before the board. However, there's a second one that we were trying to clarify.
This is it, Mr. Killer. This is the findings.
Okay, we gotta stop.
In fact, it was even sent to your office on,
I don't know what this is that we're referencing. I understand the GMI one. I'm not talking about the GMI one. I prefer not having to discuss it again. Correct, this is it. So the second findings and decision, and this should be incorporated into the record of this meeting, relates to case number 2021-09-03, which is Teresa Sakasi
Talking about this.
G4S Security Systems as it relates to a J&G Commercial Plaza Building D Suite 101. I'm not well versed with this, but this is again a decision that was made by Mr. Orsini, which he did not have the authority to issue. So these are the two items that I'm aware of that I believe are before the board with regards to item 3B.
Okay,
The managers, no, they're doing the G4. They did the G4S. Okay, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I can ask a question? Couple questions?
go ahead, sir.
Okay, with regard to case, I'm just gonna go the last two digits, the 0903. This has to do with G4S security. Who conducted this investigation?
Andrew conducted the investigation.
You did? Okay. And then after you, how long did it take you to do this? Couple days?
2 weeks, yeah, to verify and since TFT was off island, so it's a little bit difficult trying to get a hold of them.
Okay. And then you basically found that they don't have a license. That's correct?
All contractors, sir.
A contractor's license.
They did have a business, yeah.
They had a business license,
Correct.
but no contractor's license.
Correct.
And you're saying they needed to have a contract, what license did C6? C68?
Right.
Okay. And then something like this, council had to be brought to the board.
Yes, well, in addition to which, and something I believe is scheduled or proposed to be scheduled for the board's next meeting, is an issue of whether or not the board ever formally adopted the specialty licenses that it's been enforcing. So whether or not it went through a proper legislative hearing, et cetera. So yeah, so you've got the issue of whether or not they were ever properly adopted, but if a party objects to the board's finding, they've got a right to appeal it. And what we've got in these two findings and decisions that were issued by Mr. Orsini, both parties being the contractors, were afforded no opportunity to appeal to the board or to make an argument that the CLB staff was incorrect. So that's primary, yes.
Those two cases, they are still open and we will be putting them on the agenda for the coming board meetings.
Well, that's fine,
Okay,
but you can't issue findings and decisions
but
and say they're still open.
no, sir, because this, we didn't even have any recommendation for any action. There's no citation or any action. These are just like the facts that was gathered during the
but
investigation.
I can't handle this. They're your facts. You have
Facts.
two parties that oppose and disagree with your findings of the facts. Therefore, you can't make a decision. It's really simple, fundamental.
So I think what council is saying.
Contractors have to have an opportunity
Yeah.
to appeal to the board.
Yes, sir, but there was an opinion. I mean, I don't really want to discuss much about it because we're only talking about the findings. We will present the whole summary of the case to the board when it is going to be in the agenda, so like everything could be discussed and, you know,
I think a big part of the issue is it's labeled findings and decisions.
Yeah,
It's gotta be just findings, because the decision hasn't been made by the board. I think that's the
Or
whole point, of it, or
recommendation.
anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a
so the
recommendation.
label is wrong, but then if you have to go through the process of resolving the case, we haven't even gone to the decision and order. The decision and order is the last part where we already have issued any kind of action. We haven't issued any kind of action yet.
Well, I don't know what you
These are actually
understand
facts and
the
findings.
action, but when you issue a document entitled findings and decisions, everybody else understands that to be a decision.
But it's a complaint. A complaint is asking if there is a license for this company. So the findings, there's no license. And what kind of license? So
I can't comment.
I
further. This
understand.
doesn't make any sense. to me.
that's what, as I said, we will present the two open cases for the board on the coming,
So that the board can make findings and decisions.
Right.
Correct.
yeah, so they can have their decision and order. So, if, how can we proceed? Actually, we have submitted also follow-up, opinion from Mr. Orsini, but since he's not here anymore, we haven't received a response regarding, if I may discuss, although it's not in the agenda, am I allowed to discuss it?
No.
It doesn't do any good. The answer is no. I mean, that's up to
So I
the,
will just
chairman.
discuss it when the agenda regarding this case is going to be presented to the board.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Anybody have any questions?
I just think, Mr. Chairman, in these terms, especially when it comes to findings, decisions we can take care of, right? But for findings, if I'm reading this, I'd like to know exactly what the company has been doing and then compare it with what the law says they should be doing or should be getting a license for. And I don't see that, at least in this G4S one. So maybe we can be a little bit more thorough on what exactly, what types of activities, what types of construction, what types of contracting they're doing. It would educate the board to make a, of course, an informed decision.
Yes.
So, barring not having that in front of me, I move that we rescind this specific findings and decisions that was previously signed on November 1st, 2021 on page number 2021-09-03. That's my motion.
All in favor?
Got a second?
Second motion?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. All in favor? Say
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Well, okay, what about the other findings and decision that was issued December 22nd with regards to the,
Attorney Keeler, can we make a motion to just cover all those
well,
findings and decisions that were signed by Mr. Orsini that didn't go before the board? And
Well,
have
that
them
would-
represented?
that would be fine, and that's reasonable. You've already made a motion, as I understand, with regards to the G4S item. The only other one that I'm aware of would be the December 22nd one with regards to GMI-Edison. So you can certainly phrase it, all of them. You've already got one out of the way, so I think if the motion were made with regards to this other one, I think the board would be squared away.
Could we amend Vince's motion to include that JMI Edison?
Sure.
Sure thing.
Okay, so I move that we amend Mr. Ariola's motion to rescind Mr. Orsini's decisions and findings for the two cases, one for GE4S and the other for GMI Edison.
Yeah, that would be proper.
I second
All in
that.
favor?
Discussion?
Any discussion, any questions? Go ahead, sir.
And, you know, as I did with the previous one, with G4S, and this would be the staff, who did the investigation on this?
Mr. Pinoy.
G4S or
Uh,
JMI.
Yeah,
JMI.
0904, okay. And what exactly did you do here?
As far as investigation,
Mhm.
I received a complaint, sent the complaint to Menzies. Menzies had their attorney answer questions. They had questions themselves. Brought it back to JMI's attorney. So it became an attorney to attorney question, line of questioning. And then from that moment, that's when we had to get our legal counsel involved.
No, but my question was, you as an investigator, what did you investigate?
Whether they had a license or not.
Okay. Did this involve like a physical review of their work up there at the airport or anything?
It's just our license here, our, what do you call it, listing.
Excuse me, sir. We have not gone that far yet because the project is not awarded yet. They are still in the process of awarding the project. So we will be conducting actually our field investigation, but this decision came about, as everyone is aware, you know, that on the FOIA, right, that it came about. So it happened on that December, but around that time, we're not finished actually with the actual investigation. So that's why we will be forwarding the case to the board, you know, the status of the case and the brief summary, you know, like how we conducted all the investigation, how we came about with the findings.
Okay, so your investigation was really just to see whether they had a contractor's license,
Yes, as of
or
now, yes.
whether it's C68 or C13
13,
or
yeah.
whatever, right? That's all it was.
That's
You
all
just
it
check your
was.
files.
We based on the RFP that was submitted by the complainant, and we found on the conveyor portion, on the conveyor machines, there are a lot of, you know, electrical work that's involved in that. So, but we still yet have to go to the field, talk to the people that are involved working
Okay.
there, and then we'll present the findings to the board for action after we're
Okay, so
done.
this is just like your initial findings or something?
Like an investigation.
Yes, and
It's your preliminary.
preliminary in report.
Yeah, folks, just I think moving forward again, you know, if stuff like this is gonna come to the board, we need to know, at least me, I'd like to know whether this is preliminary, if this is final, how detailed the investigation is, because, you know, we have to be fair to all the contractors.
Yes, sir.
That's our purpose here.
Yes, sir.
And not only that, but we have to protect our citizens, and then we also have to follow the law.
Correct,
So
sir.
we've got to be quite a bit more thorough when we do our investigations.
Yes, sir.
And if it's preliminary, you got to put it down as preliminary. If there's if it's just findings, then just findings. If there's a decision, then put a decision, you know, for us to make the decision,
Yes.
and then we'll sign off on it.
Yes.
But and that's why I asked, you know, to what extent was the investigation made? And now if it's just looking at files, then that's a different story, as opposed to going up there and seeing exactly what this contractor is doing. And it would be no different than any other general contractor who's laying bricks or pouring cement, and they don't have a contractor's license to do that kind of thing.
So I believe the project is already awarded. So at the time when we were doing the investigation, the project was not awarded yet because it's under protest. So we can right now, you know, go there and see what this contractor that was awarded, what actually are they doing?
Yeah, I'm not too sure whether that's even an issue, whether they were awarded the contract or not, because as I understand it, they've been there for 6 years. So that already tells
Yeah,
me
if-
there's some
Yeah,
experience there.
I agree,
Yeah.
but we might be also like question, why are we investigating the one that was like 2015? Because the complaint is now on the 2020 RFP, we're just being cautious. That's why we wanted to complete everything and present it to the board.
I agree with Mr. Ariola. I think that when the findings are presented to the board, they should be final findings. Otherwise, we're wasting our time if you have to go back to the drawing board. So to the board for a decision should be final. And I'm sure the other board members would appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, let's move on here.
So just to recap, Ms. Santos agreed to a motion to amend and Ms. Borja second. We're good.
Correct.
I think we need to vote on it, right? Yes.
Well, we voted on my motion already. And then Rita turned around and amended it after we voted on it, so.
Michelle amended, I second it. Now we have to vote.
All right, is that proper, I guess?
Yes.
We'll just do it again.
Okay. All those in
Sorry,
favor?
but aye.
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 Thank you. Okay, I guess no questions. Anybody? Anyone? Okay, item 4. I guess is an announcement. Scheduled regular board meeting for March 9th has been moved to March 16th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Any questions?
The time is not 8:30. I think they wanted to move it to 8:30, but I just want to be clear on the time. Is it 10 or?
It will be at 10 o'clock. The 8:30 would have been for March 9th, but since it's gonna be moved to 16th, it'll be at 10 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Do we have any idea what's on the agenda for the March 16th meeting? upcoming meeting?
I do. I'm working on it and it is with, I emailed it to Mr. Keeler for review and we will get that out to you as soon as it's approved.
Okay. If we can include, because as I understand, the board, the entity CLB is supposed to have rules and regulations.
It is on there.
Is that on it?
Yes.
Okay, no other questions?
And then any other investigations that will be before the board?
I think on the agenda, on that particular meeting is the Samsung. We will be discussing the status of Samsung.
Okay.
And we'll probably include, depends on the time because the rules and regulations, to discuss and review the rules and regulations. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but we can include the TFP also. If
What?
the
G4S.
the status of the TFP, if we can, whatever the board's decision to move forward or close it, because it's still open, so maybe we can include that.
The draft is.
It's up to the
Okay.
legal
Yeah.
counsel.
Yeah, between the adjudication of the rules and regs, I'd like that on the agenda.
Mhm.
And the Samsung
Yeah.
fine issue, if we can get that on the agenda.
Right.
That'd be good.
Okay, no other issues, no other questions?
Is there public comment here? in this
Public comment, anybody?
Well, if we have the opportunity to say something, I'd like to know, is the JMI matter going to be on the agenda for March 16 as well?
I believe so, yes.
And then I guess, what about the other 09-02 and 09-01? Are those rescinded as well, or just?
What Oh,
I don't know, I'm just looking at the case number and the motion was for $10.
we only rescinded 03 and 04. 03 and 04.
No other question?
I have a question for Attorney Keeler. Attorney Keeler, are we allowed to discuss the JMI matter when they filed a lawsuit in the Superior Court?
I assume you're talking about board members. And any discussions with our board members would be done when they come together. Not.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? You were breaking up.
Sorry about that. The board is an entity as such, any discussion be with the entity. If you have questions with regard to a legal matter that should be discussed with the board in a properly noticed meeting.
So I think if I'm to read that right, so that'll be discussed at the next board meeting.
Correct. There couldn't be informal meetings for the board members.
Yeah, so we'll discuss, it's an agenda item on the next board meeting. We'll take it up then. Hopefully we'll have the full findings. Anything else, Michelle?
No, I'm good, thank you.
No other questions? Anybody?
I have no other questions.
Thank you. It is 10:51 in the morning, and this meeting, board meeting is adjourned.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye all.
Thank you, Ian.
Can we, the next meeting, yeah, can we figure